What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Watch Dealers. I'm Lewis, one of the owners here at TWD, and today we're talking Royal Oak alternatives at every budget. So, let's take a little time and talk a little watches. So, before we get into the wristwatch check, I want to remind you, www.thewatchdealers.com.au. We've had some great pieces come in this week, including a JLC Master Ultra Thin Moon. It's a full set priced under $10,000. This could be the perfect dress watch. We also have an Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 43mm 2018 model, full set priced under $6,500 Australian dollars. So wristwatch check. Today, I'm wearing a Fears Brunswick Salmon dial. This piece was made for me by Nicholas over at Fears out of the production run of the model. It has one of the most incredible dials you'll ever see on a watch priced under $5,000. It has linear brushing over the copper salmon dial, a custom set of numerals created specifically for the brand. Head over to Fears' Instagram page and their website and check out the details on this piece. So let's get into it then. Royal Oak alternatives. The Gerald Genta created watch of the 1970s that ushered in a new era of watchmaking. AP went out of their way to rejuvenate the Swiss watch industry and drag it kicking and screaming out of the quartz crisis. And they accomplished that with the creation of the Royal Oak, one of the most famous and iconic watches out of Switzerland in the past 50, 60 years. At the time, this watch was a revelation in pricing and luxury, worth double the retail of a Rolex Submariner at the time. A steel sports watch finished to this standard was just simply unheard of. The watch has continued its greatness for 50 years at this point. The problem we have now as buyers and collectors is they're unobtainable. If you want a Royal Oak and you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars each year with your AD, you probably don't have a chance of getting one new. And if you want to spend $45,000 to get one pre-owned, go right ahead. They're a great watch, hard to beat. But that's a large pill to swallow, right? So today, we're going to discuss different budget alternatives, starting from as low as under $500 up to $20,000, where you can get the look for less or better for less. Let's kick it off with the most fun piece in this video. The Casio G-Shock Casio, the GA2100 series. This watch is available in a multitude of color variations. It retails at 250 Australian dollars, and this was the slimmest G-Shock ever made. It utilized their new carbon core technology, creating extra shock resistance on a slimmer case profile. It's a 45mm watch, but it's essentially lugless, so it doesn't wear anything like that. Even on my 6.7-inch wrist, I can wear this watch with ease, and in fact, I've had multiple of them. If you want to take it to the next level of Casio-ness, you can go on AliExpress and find mod kits for this piece. Look, I'm guilty of this. I've done it on a couple of my pieces. Right now, I'm rocking an offshore variant of the Royal Oak. I love it. This piece is so much fun for $250. Make sure you've got some spare change. Go grab one. They're great. If you're looking for something a little bit more classical and a little bit more upmarket, have a look at the Maurice Lacroix Icon range. Automatic timepiece at 42 or 39mm case sizes. They have a Sellita SW200 inside, but the real showstopper is the construction of the bracelet and the dial. In a Claude de Paris style, the dial is breathtaking at this price point. You're going to be hard pressed to find better finishing under $2,000 on the pre-owned market. So let's say you want to stretch your budget out to about $2,500, $3,000 Australian dollars. Check out the Venpay Ironwalker. 40mm case, 9.7mm thick. This watch was released in May 2020. It has a modified ETA 2892 movement. It offers you 100 meters of water resistance, so this can be a real daily driver. It's dressy enough to be worn out and about at the office, and it's casual enough for the shorts and t-shirt look. It's a brand that not many people will have heard of. Venpay are actually a retailer in Europe. They have their own line of watches. If your budget stretches into that $4,000 to $5,000 range, look no further than the Bell & Ross BR05. The most controversial watch of 2019 by far. Genta-esque doesn't describe it. It's got the visible screws on the bezel, got a very similar bracelet construction. It does have a fairly basic Sellita caliber inside, so be wary of that. If you're spending $5,000, the Venpay is doing the same sort of thing for $2,500. I know where my money's going to go, but the BR05 is an interesting piece. 40mm, square style case, so not quite the Royal Oak octagonal bezel, but it's up there in quality. The bracelet construction is fantastic on this piece, and that's probably the showstopper here. The dial is a fairly basic sunray, so a little bit different to something like the Clou de Paris or the Tapisserie dial that we see on the Royal Oak. But if you want sort of a more laid-back version of the Royal Oak, then the BR05 is not a bad way to go. All right, let's jump up 7,000 to 10,000 Australian dollars. We're into some real watchmaking here, and we're expecting an in-house movement. So I think the Zenith Defy Classic and Zenith Defy Skeleton are the best option in this price point if you're looking for that integrated bracelet sports watch. With the in-house ultra-thin movement, 41mm case and 100 meters water resistance, this watch does it all. The flat blue of the dial is a personal favorite of mine, but the skeleton's hard to pass over. I do find that personally I have a little bit of difficulty reading the time on the skeleton models, but realistically, that's not the point of this watch, is it? It looks exceptional. The Zenith Defy Classic and Skeleton are great options under 10 grand, and they can be had new or pre-owned very easily. They're readily available across the world, so check those out too. If you want to go real high-end and you want to be the guy who stands out in a crowd, the Bulgari Octo Finissimo. This piece is going to set you back around $15,000, so it's no small change. But the finishing and the technology built into this watch is second to none. 40mm case is going to wear a little larger because it wears a bit like a long flat disc on the wrist, but that's because it's only 6mm thick. That's the whole watch, not the movement. The whole watch is 6mm thick. It's unbelievable. It's achieved by a micro rotor along with a number of technological improvements and firsts inside the movement. The BVL caliber 138 is around 2mm thick total. That's a stunningly thin watch that offers you 100 meters of water resistance if you go for the newer steel models, and that's where I'd spend my money. The titanium's great, and it was the first of the range to really push the boundaries of thickness, but the steel offers something that the titanium just doesn't, and that's that glitzy, glamorous look where the light catches the bezels, the light catches the bracelet, and stuns from across the room. Get this piece in the black or the blue dial, and you are going to stun at your local meet. So lastly, if your budget stretches up over $15,000 to $20,000 and you don't want to wait for a new Royal Oak, the Girard-Perregaux Laureato. Say no more. This is the best integrated sports watch at that budget that isn't called a Royal Oak. 38 or 42mm case size, the Girard-Perregaux Laureato comes with true historical value. It's a watch that was made in the 70s, and yes, it was piggybacking off the Royal Oak success, but it's been around for just as long now, and it stood the test of time. It's available in ceramic models, either black or Miami-style white. It's got the classic steel model, available for around 15,000 Australian dollars. If you want to get really special, have a look at the open-worked or the fully in-house tourbillon models. I mean, they're going to set you back a lot of money, but wow, they are incredible pieces. The movement inside the Laureato compares beat for beat with the movements inside the Royal Oak. Have a look at its direct competitor, the Laureato. They're available in stores. There's no wait list for these pieces on the most part, and they're going to set you back around $15,000 for the basic models. Look, I reckon that's probably where I'm going to put my money now. We're seeing people jump onto the Laureato train because they can't get the Royal Oaks, and they're getting a little harder to find. They're still available, but I don't know how long they're going to be available for. Thank you so much for tuning into The Watch Dealers again, guys. The feedback we've had has been incredible. Join us over on Instagram at TheWatchDealersAU and on Facebook at The Watch Dealers. We'll carry on the conversation down below in the comments. What's your favourite alternative to the Royal Oak? $250,000 to $20,000? Let me know. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Until next time, Take care.